welcome. In this video, we will be looking at the basically plant cells and their uniqueness. So plant cells are unique basically because they have what we call a cell wall and chloroplasts. These two are in fact not only found in plant cells and some algae, and they are not found in animal cells. So cell walls shape, their main function is that they give shape and also support individual cells in a plant. So in plants, algae and fungi and most bacteria, the cell membrane is surrounded by a strong cell wall. So in plants, algae, fungi, and most bacteria, the cell membrane, is surrounded by a strong cell wall. So normally this strong cell wall, which is rigid, which is a rigid layer that gives protection. One, it gives protection. Two, it gives support. And as earlier stated, gives shape to the cell. It shapes the cell. So very essential is this rigid material, normally made of cellulose. Which is a tough carbohydrate structure. So if you look at the figure there, figure 211, you can see that the cell wall of multiple cells can adhere to each other to help support. So they will be interconnected to each other so that they will aid in giving the cell support. So if, of course, one cell may be weak, but many of them giving support to each other in a multicellular organism will really provide support in an entire organism. For instance, much of the wood in a tree trunk consists of dead cells. So much of the wood in a tree trunk consists of dead cells. So much of the wood in a tree trunk consists of dead cells. So when we talk of dead cells, here we are basically meaning that when these cells die, they are the ones which form the wood in the plants. So together with, of course, other structures like the vascular tissue, they will help to support the plant. So together with the vascular tissue, they will support the plant. So, so cell wall composition varies and is related to different needs of each type of organism. So in plants and algae, the cell wall is made of cellulose, a polysaccharide. Because molecules cannot easily diffuse across cellulose, the cell walls of plants and algae have openings or channels. They have openings, so they will need to have channels to allow materials to pass or to move freely from uh, one cell to the next. So in fungi, cell wall are made of chitin and not, so that is unique. In fungi, in fungi, cell walls are made of chitin. So unlike its counterpart, where it is made of of cellulose in plants and algae, here it is made of chitin, and in bacteria they and in bacteria and in bacteria they are made of they are made of peptidoglycan. Peptidoglycan. They are made of peptidoglycan. Peptidoglycan. So we are having peptidoglycan in bacteria, we are having chitin in fungi, and we have cellulose normally uh, found in plants and algae. The next thing that we are going to look at, or the next organelle, is one very important organelle that that helps uh, steer life to and make it what it is. And these are chloroplasts. So when we are looking at chloroplasts, we should keep in mind that chloroplasts are very essential, and what makes them essential is that normally this is where chloroplasts convert solar energy into chemical energy through photosynthesis. So this is where photosynthesis takes place, and that is why chloroplasts are very essential. So chloroplasts are organelles that carry out photosynthesis. Chloroplasts are organelles. They are organelles. Chloroplasts are organelles that carry out photosynthesis. So you can see how essential they are. They carry out photosynthesis, which is, of course, a series of chemical reactions that convert solar energy into energy-rich molecules that the cell can use. So we will be looking at photosynthesis in another chapter, and how energy can be, and discuss more fully in cells and energy. So like mitochondria, like mitochondria, so this is a point to note, like mitochondria, chloroplasts are highly compartmentalized. chloroplasts are highly compartmentalized. So when we say compartmentalized, we basically mean that they have uh, they have folds. They have infolds that increase their surface area. So they have both an outer membrane and an inner membrane. They have both an outer and inner membrane. They have an outer and inner membrane. They have an outer and inner membrane. They also have stacks of disc-shaped sacs within the inner membrane. They have stacks. They have stacks of disc-shaped sacs within the inner membrane. Within the inner membrane. So if you observe closely, you will see that they have stacks, normally stacks that look like small round balls, green in color, and these are what we are calling uh, disc-shaped stacks, which normally are called thylakoids. So these sacs called thylakoids contain chlorophyll. So these are thylakoids, thylakoids. And normally thylakoids contain chlorophyll. How essential is chlorophyll? Is the chlorophyll is a pigment that absorbs light which is responsible for carrying out the process of photosynthesis. So like mitochondria, chloroplasts also have their own ribosomes and DNA. Like mitochondria, they have their own DNA and mitochondria. Sorry. They have their own DNA. They have their own DNA. This is getting out of hand. They have their own the DNA and ribosomes.